Damn.
We are live. Good evening. I didn't want a single thought to be wasted, so I just started this mid-conversation because everything they have to say is interesting. That's my fellow co-hosts, the Omnibroslive. I'm Omnidog from Omnidog's Vault. We have here tonight from Near Mint Condition, Omar. We have several Omars.
Oh, man.
Just boot the other guy out. Just put the other guy out.
Is that your clone from an alternate future?
Ooh. Oh, no, I switched accounts, so thank you, Jess.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was your Nate Gray.
No. How's everybody doing tonight? We got a lot of things to talk about.
Today's a good day. Today's a good day.
A lot of things to talk about.
And you just heard from Gabe Infinity Watch.
Yo, what up, everybody? I'm sitting here. I have an important package out for delivery, and I was hoping I was going to get it before the show started.
Oh, no.
Maybe you'll get it mid-show. Does it have to do with the show?
Well, it's an omnibus. It's that
then
thing
it has
you
to do with the show.
To. Yeah.
Oh,
it's that thing you pointed me to.
The thing I pointed you to. Remember, yes. Emily's mom could be in the chat. So
I was gonna make a dick in a box joke.
And of course, the omnibus collector himself, Ryley Mo. How you doing, Ryley?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Let's see. Lamework says, anyone else in a great mood?
Yes.
We're all in a great mood, it seems to be. Maybe because we get our books from InStockTrades.com, where you can get collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add an extra 2% to that. Every quarter, there's an Omnibroslive discount code. Free shipping for orders over $50 in the United States. Fabulous service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Jess, I want to say there's a lot that I love about you, and one of the things right now is how good you are at segues.
He's gotten so good at it.
That is like the most pro. I feel like you can just either take anything or find something that will allow you to do that. The little jingle. It's incredible.
Right on, man. Thank you.
Jess, one of my favorite things about Jess is this is going to turn into the Everybody Love Jess episode.
Yay!
That's every episode he's on.
Yeah, seriously. But one of my favorite things is when me and Ryley were just talking right now, and Jess goes, "Oh, I'm gonna start this so nobody, so everybody can hear in on your conversation." And he just goes straight into the introductions and the plug, and I think me and Ryley lost our train of thought. Of what we were talking. Also,
sorry, I wanted to get those thoughts on the air because we have this backroom chat where all this interesting stuff gets talked about. I'm like, save it for the air. That's really interesting.
I would have just cold started it and not said anything, and just been
just let you go. Okay, and let you guys go. Okay, I'll do that next time.
By the time we get on the air, we've already used up all our good material. That's what happens.
Yeah, we already talking about cable and all that stuff. We're done. Bye.
We compared Jess to Cable as being the hot, sexy silver fox of memes.
That's what it was. And Jess was like,
I spent a lot of time with Jess recently. He was out here in Vegas for a couple days.
Where's this going?
And let you guys in on a secret. One, he really knows his DC Silver Age. Like he impressed everybody at the store. Remember we were talking about Lois Lane?
Lois Lane, and Kurt Schauenberger.
Yeah, there you go. And two, just double dips. I don't mean like buying books, but I mean like if you eat chips and salsa with him, he'll dip his chip back into the salsa.
Wait a second, I don't remember eating chips and salsa with you. Where was
just
that?
Double dips.
I think is that libel or slander?
That's
slander.
That is slander.
Accusing me of double dipping my
incorrect for that to be.
I'm pretty sure I didn't double dip any chips with you. I'm going to think about that. That doesn't sound right.
Double dips, not books, but definitely chips.
Oh, he definitely double dips books too.
Yeah,
yeah, that's yeah. I think we all do.
So
I'm not quadruple dip or anything like that. I quadruple dip the Transmetropolitan, that's for sure.
So
go ahead.
I was gonna say before we start the review of Cable and then we talk about what's coming out this week. Our tree went up, and my 9-year-old daughter chose the tree topper this year.
Yes.
Gabe, actually, Jess, do you know who this is?
That's Voldatron.
Voldatron, you are the freaking worst. How do you have such a huge fan base? What is wrong with you? This is Starscream.
Starscream. That was going to be my next guess.
I'm so proud of my daughter. This is from the classics line, but anyway, I'm not gonna put my original one on top of the tree because I know what will end up happening. But every year we do something geeky on, like we always put something geeky on top of the tree, and I let my kids or my wife or myself, we choose it every year, so we alternate. So this year, my 9-year-old chose Starscream.
Well, she chose Xenomorphs.
From Aliens, yeah. She liked that movie. All right, let's talk Cable, guys.
Father of the Year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to kick it off? Because I had a video already, and I talked a little bit about the book. So thank you
talking
to
about
Instock
this.
Trade, first of all, for sending us review copies of Cable's probably the least collected amount of Cable that hasn't been collected yet. I remember there was one trade of the original first 6 issues of Tishman and Cordy, but that was it. So this was a kind of a surprise, and an even bigger surprise that it came out in oversized hardcover. That was crazy.
Yeah, because there's no other oversized Cable except for the few first issues that are in that Deadpool X-Force, and then the next few are going to be in the upcoming Cable and X-Force Omni. So yeah, that was interesting that they went with this, and this was I kind of pushed us to choose this book because
pushed us
because it's an X-Men book that I've never read, and it's a character that I've read probably the least of out of anything else outside of X-Men. So, and then because of the fact that Omar, you were already familiar with it, I thought that it would be an interesting book for us to get and talk about, at the least.
Yeah. So I know how you feel about it. What about you, Jess? You're the love everything kind of guy, except for some reason you did not like Letter 44. First of all, have you ever read any of Cable? Do you know who Cable is?
I do know who Cable is. I mostly know about him from the New Mutants run.
Okay.
Back in that Liefeld did, 86 through 100 or whatever that was.
Wow, impressive. That is correct. 86 through 100.
Nice.
Good job. God bless. You are walking Wikipedia.
Through the uprights and good.
All right, carry on. So what did you think of this book? If that's all you've ever read of Cable, what did you think of this?
I haven't read Cable and Deadpool or Deadpool and Cable. I haven't read that yet.
Oh, it's Cable and Deadpool, but go ahead.
It says Deadpool and Cable.
I don't give a shit what that says. The title is Cable and Deadpool.
Oh, actually.
Actually. This is probably the most Cable I've ever read. I have to say that you guys were talking about how the artwork improved from some base.
Igor Cordy was notorious for drawing multiple issues a month. Like he was on Extreme X-Men. He did issues of New X-Men. I can't remember the other title he was on. He was on like 3 or 4 titles. And this title at one time shipped twice a month. So his art really suffered. And I don't know if it was the art in this or maybe the coloring, but his art on Cable was leap years ahead. Like it was insane how much better it was. Now, like I said, it's still rough at patches, but then there are times that I was like, man, it kind of reminds me of some of those really pretty European books that I like to collect.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jess.
I was not a big fan of the artwork. I felt it was, it does look rushed. I will say it does look very rushed. It just looks rushed and choppy and disproportionate, and it just wasn't my thing. But I think that it didn't take me completely out of the story. I thought the stories that I read were interesting. They seemed to be really trying to, I'm guessing this was written the late 90s to the early 2000s. Is that, since it seemed to tie into those events?
Yes,
Peruvian government trying to topple the Peruvian government with the Shining Path, and
by the way, no, you know what? I'll talk about it when he gets.
Does by the way count as actually?
No, but look at that fine ass picture of Irene Merriweather. Hello, nurse. Put a lot of these. That's where all his time was spent.
Yeah, that I can see. I could see that. I thought it was interesting that the writer tried to put Cable in hotspots across the globe that were timely and political. I thought they were handled in a reasonable manner. I thought it was kind of weird how he always put like a really strong female into the story, but the female always ended up having a weakness for Cable. It was almost like the first Star Trek series where the hot chick was really talented, but she always fell for Captain Kirk, and that was like every single episode.
Well, you see how hot Cable is in this book, right?
Well, he does remind me of me without the sort of the face trash on my face. So I guess I can see that, but that felt sort of forced and weird to me, how the really impressively smart woman was particularly vulnerable to Cable's charms and or was just willing to throw herself at Cable. That seemed awkward to me, and maybe it's my 2018 sensibilities looking back on a 1998 comic, but
awkward. Have you seen his metal arm and his shiny eye? If that doesn't get you I don't know what does.
Well, I have metal in my arm holding my elbow together, and I wink at chicks in bars, and nothing's getting me anything.
Don't go to a bar and pick up a chick with that line, though. Metal in my arm.
Look, I have a metal arm, too.
Yeah, but you don't have the techno-organic virus, man.
That's true. I got rid of it.
You also don't have the telekinesis and float around and talk about your weird religion.
That is true. I thought that religion was very interesting. That Ascani, if I'm saying that right, because I'm going from my memory and my memory blows. But I thought that was an interesting aspect of him. They tried to make him more than just one-dimensional, and they gave him a very meditative side that was also out of control. His telekinesis and telepathetic, telecinetic, whatever powers were also all out of control. They seemed to be, once he got rid of the techno virus, he seemed to be losing control of his powers, and they're very powerful to the point where he could just like appear in midair and escort children off a plane that were getting ready to be tossed off a plane. I thought that was interesting. So I thought I think you guys probably enjoyed it more than I did, but I liked it better than the Guardians of the Galaxy Omnibus, because this one you could go in cold to, start right from the beginning, and you have all the information you need. It gives you all of the info on Cable, what he's doing there, and then it's like a giant fresh start for Cable. So you just start right there and go forward. You don't need any back matter, which is a relief. So you could just start right there and read it, and just it's an excellent starter book to learn about Cable. So I'm not going to slag it at all. I think you guys liked it more than I did, but I liked it because you can read it and understand it and not have to pull on 40 years of back stock knowledge or what was going on tangentially in other comic books at the time. You can pick this book up and totally get into it, and the art's a little rough, but the stories really made an effort to be interesting and make Cable an interesting and almost likable character. He doesn't have the alienation vibe going on. He's looking for answers, and you kind of want him to find them. So that's pretty much how I felt about it.
Did it make you want to look at other Cable stuff?
Yeah. If it's a fresh start type of stuff that I don't have to have a lot of knowledge of, or because a lot of these books, sometimes I have to I have to text you guys and say, what else do I need to know about this?
Right.
And where do I go from here? Because there's a lot of loose plots dangling and cliffhangers and stuff. But yeah, I'd like. This guy seems to be fairly interesting to me. I wouldn't mind going to read Cable and Deadpool next, so I can get more Cable.
You need to, because it's wonderful.
It's a great series, and then you can go
and
to.
Now I can just read that. I can just drop right into Cable and Deadpool and read just that, right? I don't have to have any.
Honestly, Fabian really does a good job of reintroducing characters in a way that you're like, oh, I guess this guy was a part of Cable's life. That's cool. Like he does a really good job. Like Irene shows back up in that run.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. I read that run without having read any Cable, outside of maybe a few issues of the Swarzinski run during Messiah War and that whole era, and it was extremely accessible. I was not really too lost at any point, and if I was, like Omar said, he kind of like makes it easy to get what's going on. So I definitely recommend it, and it's a great series on its own.
This is Cable and Deadpool we're talking about,
right?
Yep. What about you, Gabe? What did you think about it? This book that we read, because I think Ryley and I shared the exact same thoughts. So
yeah, probably.
I skipped out on this review.
What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
He wants to buy it.
You just want to buy it.
He wants us to tell him why he should buy it.
You want to hear why Jess is wrong? Actually, Jess is right. The story was really good. All right, Ryley, you kick it off. All I wanted to say was, so when I lived in Peru, we did have, well, because I lived in Lima, and we did have El Sendero Luminoso, which is the terrorist group, right? That's what's happening in here. Mm-hmm. And much like every terrorist group out there, they all think they're, doing the right thing by trying to overthrow the government by killing its own people. It was horrible. That was in the 80s. It was huge in the 80s. And during this time, in the late 90s, is when they started kind of dwindling down enough where the government kind of took over. So it was really interesting to see that in here. I actually had forgotten about that when I first read this. I like to see my home country or my city, right, like where I'm from, Lima, be represented. And the guy did his research, because, I mean, that's the way Lima looks. It looks like a metropolis. It's huge. Right, and then when he goes into the outskirts where the El Sendero Luminoso actually lives, where is it? Ayacucho. That's what that looks like the shit you see in movies. Because most of the time, when you see somewhere in Lima, Peru, you get stuff like this, and people that have actually lived there are like, not really. So it was really nice that this guy did a lot of his research. That's Tishman.
When I started reading the book. Yeah, because later when Darko Makan came on, he was no longer in Peru. He was out in like other countries.
Yeah.
When I first cracked open the book and I saw it was Peru, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to hear everything that Omar has to say about that. So I'm really happy that you went into that, because that was something I was super curious about. Because if it's about Texas, I'm going to talk about Texas.
Well, seriously, these guys were as ruthless as they show in the book. They were out bombing restaurants. They were out bombing schools. Jeez. It was a horrible time to live in this place, and and he did a really good job, like portraying it, like with the art and the story. Because maybe Igor Kordy's artwork, really fit the book, because it wasn't really pretty. It wasn't a pretty place to live, but things are a lot better now. So anyway, that's what I wanted to add. But go ahead.
Yeah, I really loved it. I was actually kind of surprised how much I enjoyed this book, especially when it was getting closer to review time, and I was like, because I've never read a lot of Cable. I've never read anything by Tishman. I've never read anything by Darko Makan. I did not like Kordy's artwork, but I wanted to, make myself read something that was different and see how I felt about it, go in completely cold. And I came out so pleasantly surprised. It kind of gave me I had a similar reaction to when I finished reading this book, or actually when I started reading this book. as when I started, completely unrelated book, but when I started reading the House of Secrets omnibus from Vertigo. I had never read any Stephen T. Siegel. I'd never seen Teddy Christensen outside of his art in
You
Sandman.
read Siegel's X-Men run though, didn't you? That was in the 90s. He had
I
a short-lived run.
I haven't read that before, and certainly
No.
not before I read House of Secrets back when the Omni came out.
I guess that was a few years ago, right now.
That was like 7 or so years ago, because I was living in Houston, and it just was this visceral feeling that it's hard to explain, but it's the similar type of feeling. It put me into that that place in time, that kind of late 90s vibe that the book had, in like stylistically how it was presented. But the writing, even though it was very timely for when it was written for the events and the things that they were talking about, it almost at the same time felt timeless, because I didn't feel as if it was aged. I felt like this was something that could have been written in the past few years. And as far as not the visceral feeling of it, but the story feeling and what was being presented here as far as narrative and character, it reminded me in a lot of ways of Tom King's Sheriff of Babylon, and the way that they're...
Wow, it's a compliment. Because I know how much you really like that book.
I did really like that book, but do you? I mean, I don't know if you get what I mean, but
I can see that.
The interaction of the main character in a separate,
Which makes me wonder if the guys were... Well, I know that Mark McCann, military, right? But I also wonder if the original writer, the one that started it off, if Tishman, if he was military.
I tried
just the way it's written.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the feeling I got from it. Because Sheriff of Babylon from King took a lot of his personal experience and put it into that book, and it's probably the most personal book that he's done, from my lenses. And so reading this, I was like, is this coming from a similar place? And I started looking into what else McCann and Tishman have done, and it's like such a slim body of work from each of them. Tishman had some Vertigo series that came out. McCann did a few different things with like some Star Wars books, and I think he did I looked up and there was I think it's on the sleeve here. Oh, it was Tishman who did Angel, True Blood, Teen Wolf, and Star Trek stuff. So his work is all over the place, and it's mostly what do you call existing properties and stuff like that.
So there were the comic books based on this. Wow.
So yeah, it says that on the sleeve.
Oh yeah, True Blood, Teen Wolf. I didn't know there was a Teen Wolf comic book.
There's not a lot. There wasn't a lot for me to go off of, because I was like, man, I want to see more of what this guy was doing. And
so, while you talk, I'm going to show some of the art that I was talking about, some of the gorgeous Cordy art. If you want to put it on me, there, Jess. So we got this kind of stuff. You could keep talking. I was just showing the art.
Shit, I lost myself for a second.
You wanted to find out more of what he had written.
I did, and when I realized, what little he had done, I looked into the back matter, because I was just, after finishing the book, just curious about everything to do with it, and there was his original pitch, and this was kind of not much to do with my exploration for finding more by Tishman, but it was really interesting and really informative of what I had just read, because the pitch that's included there really gives you a good look into his head as to what he was going for. And so I came out thinking he was very successful in kind of succeeding to that was kind of repetitive, redundant right there, but he successfully did what he wanted to, even though he left the series after 8 issues before McCann took over. I think that's about how much he wrote.
Yeah, it was about 8 issues, and then McCann took over and took it over into Soldier X, which, interestingly enough, was So there was this rumor always that the reason that they changed the names of Deadpool, X-Force, and Cable was because they were tired of paying Rob Liefeld royalties.
Oh no.
So they changed the name of Deadpool to Agent X, and then of course X-Force became Ecstatics, and then Cable became Soldier X. And apparently it took them like a year or two to fix all those issues, and then the titles kind of reverted, or they were able to. I mean, obviously they made up, right? Because then after this run, there was this.
Yeah.
With Liefeld writing X-Force and Cable again. So, yeah.
I wanted to note something.
You can take it off of me now, Jess. I was done showing this is the art.
Gladly.
When I was
Wow.
when I was reading the book and I found out that it switched writers, I kind of got concerned and apprehensive that it was going to kind of have a narrative feel, was going to change. But I wanted to note that it really, if you weren't paying attention, you would think it's the same writer, because he goes in the same direction Makan does from Tishman. He doesn't really miss a beat, because the artist stays the same. It has that same feel. Of course, it does have a different direction that it goes into once it gets into Soldier X, a slightly different direction, but it still, in general, overall has that same feel that they had from the beginning of what was it, like issue 97 or whatever, when Tishman first came on. But it was, I honestly, like, I can't stress how much I really enjoyed this book. A lot of it, I think it did have to do with me just not really expecting anything or knowing what to expect from it. I think,
and sometimes that makes for a good experience. So, like,
yes,
because sometimes you get so hyped up on a book. I'm sure by the time Annihilation gets reprinted, you know, you're gonna have a lot of people going, "Eh, well, I don't see what the big deal was," right?
Yeah, and
because
that happens
everybody
a lot.
talks about it.
That happens especially with books that, you know, people consider whales that they want to get that they've never read, and then they get to it and they've either spent forever searching or they spent a lot of money, and then when they read it, they're like, I don't know why this was so huge. So it is a cool experience to go into this blind, not knowing anything and not knowing what to expect, especially because my experience with Cable and my impression of the character is so different than what is presented here. You know, my impression is the huge, you know, shoulder pad, pocket, giant gun bigger than his entire body wielding dude. And this one was, you know, a more, he's wearing like a t-shirt and pants, and it was a lot more trimmed down version of the character, and he just seemed a little bit more accessible as a person, as a character, and also as a narrative. It was very accessible, because Cable is kind of daunting sometimes because he's so steeped in time travel stuff and alternate reality.
Well, explaining the character to people has always been a joke, right? It's like, who's
Yeah.
Cable? Oh, he is the son of Cyclops, and not Jean Grey, but her clone. And anyway, get sick into the future by Apocalypse. But what's interesting, before we wrap up the interview, I did want to mention that even though it feels so nice and stuff like for a new reader, old readers will still get, like, people that have followed the X-Men for a long time realize that he's still tying, like, from the beginning, he's tying events into other events going on in X-Men right after Colossus died, right, with the release of the Legacy virus. So the cure of the Legacy virus is out there, and that's why his powers are kind of snapping at the beginning. He doesn't understand what's going on because it's a side effect of that release. You know, there are a couple things that, as a fucking X-Men nerd, I'm like, oh, actually, Cable would lose control of his arm because that's part of his powers. His telekinesis, he's always lifting that arm. So otherwise, it's just a huge arm. It's not like a android arm, right?
Well, wasn't the TO like retracting? It looked like,
yes, that's what it was doing.
It was more just a plate on top of his arm, because there's parts in it
because it started going back, right? Right. So all of it just goes away eventually, where he's like starts spitting it out. But it's really cool just to see how much he kind of wrote into it for people that are reading and keeping up with comics, going, oh, this is still an X-Men book. Cool. But not at all.
Well, overall, I recommend it. I really dug it. If anyone's curious, I really, really like this book.
This is one of the books that I tell people if they want to find out what Cable is like. It's a good jumping on point for new readers. And I think it's an interesting take on the character because you're not bogged down by all that history and future and past and things like that. So
Where do
it's
you
really nice.
where do you go from here, Omar? As like someone like myself, or like Jess, we told Jess Cable and Cable and Deadpool, but where do you suggest, like, forward, backwards?
Actually, I just did a video on my channel last week of like the Cable comprehensive reading order, and I suggested jumping on points. That being one, of course, I think this is one of my all-time favorites just because it's so obscure. There's 2 volumes of this run right here. This is the Joe Casey and Ladron stuff. I don't know if you've ever read it. It reminds me a lot of this. This is the run that introduced the character of Irene Merriweather, right? And a lot of people are put off by Ladron's artwork because he looks like Jack Kirby and like had never evolved. But I kind of dig it. I think it's really good. It reminds me a lot of the Soldier X stuff. I think that was a good jumping on point. And then the what is it? The Revolution book by Weinberg, who was he's passed away now. Robert Weinberg. He was a novelist who's passed away now, but he did this run, and I thought this was a really good, not Cable book, because when everybody thinks of Cable, but then I'm a guy of the '90s, so I always tell people, "Oh my God, yeah, you got to check out the original New Mutant stuff because that stuff is so fun, because it was so different than the books that were coming out at the time. So different. Like he took New Mutants and made it into a military book, which was kind of badass."
You know, for later stuff, what this kind of resonated with me was, if you've read the most recent, I think it's the most recent X-Force run by Cy Spurrier. It kind of reminds me of that, or that, I guess that version of Cable reminds me of this. That was a really fun series too.
Yeah, that one was okay. It was short-lived.
It was only 14, 15 issues.
Yeah, I didn't kick that one. I got the other one by Was it Hopeless? This one here, and I did not like this series at all.
The
Cable and X-Force. I didn't even talk about this on my readathon because I think I was done with the character by then, or maybe Marvel was too, and they just didn't know what to do with him.
I like that one. Okay, I thought it was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Sam Humphries did the other X-Force at the time, which I thought was really blah. But the other one, the X-Force by Spurrier, was very like tactical, military type stuff that kind of was really interesting to me. Also, it had a lot of Phantom X, and that's
cool. So I also recommend this book. It's definitely I agree with every point that you made.
And I read it all in one day. I want to point that out, that it was so engrossing. I read it all in about 3 hours.
What about you, Jess? Would you recommend this book to a new reader? Like totally, does this get the Omnidog seal of approval?
Yeah, I think if you're interested in Cable, the character, this would be a good book for you to read then. If you're interested in comic books in general, I don't think I'd start you out in this, but if you've read, if you've got a little bit of background knowledge and you've read comic books and you just want to know more about Cable, then yeah, I would recommend this book.
If you understand the way that panels flow from left to right, is that what you meant?
Right. Yeah. If you know how
not
to
a manga.
Yeah. If you're not afraid of reading in color and not about tentacle porn, then yeah, go for this book.
Stereotyping much, huh? So there you have it, folks. That is everybody's thoughts. Let's look at the solicits. What's coming out this week? Gabe, you ready for that, buddy?
What do I need to buy?
I'm ready.
It's going to be a huge week for me, and I need to know my freaking discounts. So Jess, you got the discounts up?
I do.
All right. Gabe, you share your screen and fire away, man. Let's look at the diamond solicitations. Any minute now.
It's happening right now, dude.
Whoops, sorry.
Hey now.
There we go.
All right, so let's take a look and see what Omar needs to figure out on his spending for this week.
God damn it, $44.99. I already see one on.
All right, so Image Comics. We've got Chronicles of Hate Collected Edition. No idea what that is. Paper Girls Volume 5. So we're on Volume 5. Wow, I forgot how long this book has been coming out for. Paradiso Volume 2. Wayward Volume 6. Hardcover Volume 3 for Wicked and Divine.
Yep. Yep. Me too, Jess.
What's the discount on that one? Not that it matters. I'm buying it out of the way.
How much?
42%.
So what does that mean for my pocket?
42% off.
It'll be $26.09. Except you'll probably have frequent buyer discount, so add another 2% to that. So it's
add taxes on
$85.87. I don't know. Something.
I like it. I think it's worth it. Those Wicked and Divine hardcovers have always been really beautifully put together, and it's
I agree.
It's a good story, good series.
I've never read a single page of that book.
It's heavy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, my package is here. Bye, guys.
I think I know what he's got in there too.
So, Dark Horse, Gigantic Library Edition.
I don't know what that is.
That's a Rick Remender and Dustin Wynn, or not Dustin Wynn.
Don't sell me on more shit, damn it.
Rick Remender book?
Well, I haven't read it, and that's why I'm. It's not Dustin Wynn. Is it Eric Wynn? Eric Wynn. Yeah. So I haven't read it, but it's only what $25 cover price.
Yeah. How much is the discount on that, Jess?
Gigantic, 42% off. So that brings it down to $14.50.
Oh, that's in my cart already. That's already on the way to my house, man. I don't know what it is, but Kaiju, Rick Remender, $25 cover price. Yeah, that's
library edition sized.
Oh.
Giant robots.
Yeah, man. It's getting hot in here.
All right, what next for me to drool about?
What about Wreck-It Ralph 2? Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Oh, no.
IDW is basically Omar's turf.
Bless.
So he's going to get everything here.
Everything except for October Faction. I'm not getting October Faction. Even though I've read the first few.
We got Volume 8 of the amazing TMNT IDW collections.
Yes. Yeah.
And then also another Volume 8 of another fantastic IDW licensed product, Transformers IDW Collection Phase 2, Volume 8.
It's got Drift on the cover too. Ooh, who is my main? I love that dude.
Yeah, he's dope as shit, dude.
Just out of curiosity.
It looks like Thanos got to him.
Well, that's what all the Phase 2 covers look like. Looks like they're ripping away. What is the what's the discount on these?
30%.
30%.
So TMNT $50 book could be $35.
Okay, that's each one of them. Okay, cool. Next,
there's got a lot of stuff in there too, man. Robot in Disguise issues as well as the Transformers Punishment and Drift. Cool.
Yeah, they pack it in those books. Those IDW hardcovers are always.
They're my favorite out of almost everything that comes out.
The only thing I wish they would do, and this is just nitpicking, is put every cover on there. Like they don't collect the covers, but other than that, they're
so comprehensive.
They're so amazing and well put. Like whoever the editor is, God bless them, because they are so well put. Like I wish Marvel and DC would take them
all together.
Well,
Lost Light and all that stuff.
Right. Not just that, but they literally went out of their way to put this in a comprehensive reading order, so assholes like me don't have to make videos for you.
Yep.
Like, they do it literally. If it says 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the order you need to read it. All right, what's in DC? Because I know there's some books in there I'm getting too.
There's some good things here in DC. Batgirl, Volume 4.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Volume 8. Jesus Christ. So Detective Volume 8. Batman Rebirth Volume 3. This is going to be really good. This collects issue 50s in here, I believe. No, it's not.
No, it leads up to that. Yeah.
Right.
So
But it has annual number 2. That's the one where everyone
dinner.
Everyone cried after that.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a great issue, which really makes issue 50 kind of suck even more.
All right, Jess, is this you? The Batman Golden Age Omnibus. Wait, was Batman Rebirth Volume 3? Is that 50% off, Jess?
It is not. It is 42% off, which brings it down to $20.29.
What about Batman Golden Age Omnibus? You picking that up, and is it 50% off?
It's 50% off. It's a $125 book, which brings it down to $62.50. This is the one where I said I was going to start to bail. And I don't know, Gabe, could you do me a favor and click on that real quick just so I can take a look at it? We're still in the 1940s.
Jesus.
We're never going to get to the 60s. I mean, I may not be alive by the time we get to the 60s. Yeah, I think as much as I do too. It's great. As much as I really want to own all these Golden Age ones, it seems like there's going to be 12 Golden Age volumes. Well, this is late 40s, so there may be at least 2 or 3 more of these. I'm going to have to stop and then maybe go back once everything's released and see how I feel.
Are you looking for the 1960s stuff?
Eventually, I will be.
Okay. That's not in the Silver Age. Is there Batman Silver Age omnibuses yet?
No, not yet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be coming after this, and I mean, we're going to have to suffer through the Batman in Space, which was like
all the corny Golden Age, like late 50s stuff.
The late 50s, yeah. I think they consider that the beginning of Silver Age Batman, and then Batman goes into like the Batman TV show type of nonsense.
And that kept it going in that corny, childish kind of manner.
Yeah, until Neil Adams and Dennis O'Neil stepped in 68 or 69, whenever that was. So, yeah, there's a lot of dreck before you can get to that late 60s stuff, which is what I really want.
Let's see. What how somebody is asking in the chat, how difficult it is to read those Golden Age books. Jess, I guess you're the expert on that because I've tried and I gave up. I could not.
I think it's tough for the modern reader to go back and read Golden Age stuff. And I think it's tough for the modern reader to go back and read a lot of Silver Age stuff too. I can see how this would be a challenge. Now, I don't want to make a blanket statement because there's always going to be young people that like.
Absolutely. Those people I envy.
Yeah. I think that I would probably steer a modern reader away from this Golden Age stuff, even though I love it. I just don't know that it would translate well for the modern reader.
Plus, the art is really rough.
Yeah,
in this time frame too.
It's the birth of the medium, so they're still figuring things out.
It's also when it was at its like lowest quality too.
Yeah,
like paper wise, which made the coloring really bad. Just the printing was really bad.
You had pulpy paper because they were recycling all the paper for the war effort.
Yeah. This stuff is basically printed on toilet paper too. The cheapest, thinnest paper they can find.
Yeah.
It was all disposable. So I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Unless you've already read Golden Age Batman before, or unless you're just a collector who just wants every single Batman release that's out there, this is probably a good skip book for you.
Although I do, as Omar says, that cover is really cool.
It really is.
I don't like it.
Oh, well, okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. You can be wrong. All right, come on. Let's go back to DC. Take my monies.
Goldfish by Brian Michael Bendis trade paperback.
Was that collected in the crime omnibus that he did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I need that crime omnibus.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to find still, isn't it? I don't think it's out of print or anything.
Yeah, they're just
re-releasing.
They're re-releasing everything of his under DC. I think under the Black label, maybe, or maybe Bendis has his own label now.
He has Jinx World still is.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He does. Motherfucker has his own label.
While Gabe goes through these, hey, Jess, have you ever read the Rin Tin Tin comic? Because I know that was huge back in the day for you, I'm sure, right? Like the Lassie comic books?
The German Shepherd?
Yeah, Kristan was asking, did anybody read it? I didn't had no idea that Rin Tin Tin had a comic book, but I assume most.
I didn't. I don't have any knowledge of Rin Tin Tin comics. I mean, I can.
Not sure there is everything back then. That even Rifleman had a cover or had a comic.
Yeah, Rifleman, nice.
Rifleman, is it 8? Is it 8 or 12? Is like the most amazing comic book cover ever.
Oh yeah, that one is badass. Wait, so Rin Tin Tin, I forgot. No, they wasn't it Key, like Gold Key, the ones that used to make those. Maybe I'm getting confused with another dog.
No, I think you're right. I think that was Rin Tin Tin.
Because they had a lot of the TV properties.
Yeah, movie or TV character that I know of better, not as a comic book guy.
All right, what else we got? I love that Mira cover, but I'm not gonna get that trade. I'm sure Geo.
I love that cover, and I'm going to get that trade.
Okay, who wrote it? Sell me on that book. Why should I get it?
Are you reading the current Aquaman ongoing?
I am not.
Then don't buy it.
Okay, done.
I
love that cover.
It's very. It ties in very, very heavily to what was going on in Abnett's ongoing run.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
if you're not already reading that, don't worry about it.
Hopefully they'll put it in the deluxe hardcover edition when that comes out in 2025.
If then.
Yeah. After it got solicited 8 times.
God, but that cover's gorgeous. That's that's Stanley. Is it Stanley Lau? Right?
Archer, yeah.
Archim, right? Oh, yeah, that stuff is gorgeous. All right.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
Let's go back to the. Let's see what is 50% off, Jess. Just out of curiosity.
You want me to just okay? I'll tell you. 50% off Batman Golden Age.
Okay, you said that one.
Fantastic Four by Wade and Waringo Omnibus.
Yes. Picking that up. I'm an idiot. I have the hardcovers, but I'm picking that up.
Dude, I want to get it so bad, but I don't know, man.
I'm so stupid. It's so close to Christmas. Like, what am I doing?
It's only $50, dude. That's the only way I can justify getting this. Is it's $50.
Sure.
It'll be $48 if you have your discount.
That's right.
True. Okay, what else?
I buy it from the store.
The Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale, Yellow, Blue, Gray, and White Omnibus is 50% off.
I am passing on that one.
Bad idea, Omar. God.
I'm passing for now on that one, but I do think that it'll be available cheaper later. That's at least what I'm hoping.
I'm hoping that one goes on discount too.
Because I think there's going to be a lot of people passing on that one who are already owners of the
hardcover. Yeah.
Because Captain America White was okay at best, honestly, just from my opinion. So if you already own the hardcover that has the 3 previous ones, yellow, blue, gray, I don't know if you would want to sell that and upgrade or give that away and upgrade into this one just for the one more story that's not even...
And that's the Omnibus Collector saying that.
So I'm going to wait. I think that it's going to sit. I think it's going to go down in price. And
I think this is one that will be discounted too because of the availability of all these stories.
Yeah. So many formats.
It's not, it's not like they've been out of print or anything.
No, they're paperbacks. They have their own individual oversized hardcovers. There's the 3-in-1 hardcover. So there's a lot of different ways to get these stories for cheaper than this.
All right. There you go. All right. What else is 50% off, Jess?
The last 2 are Marvel Universe by John Byrne. Volume 2.
Thank you.
That is a $125 book that's 50% off.
What is in there?
It's just random ass stuff.
It's got like the 2-in-1 stuff, right? That he did. I'm sure. Oh.
Well, I mean, random as it's not like.
Oh, holy shit! That is random. It's Iron Fist 1 through 15. What the hell? New Mutants 75. That's the fight between the Black King and Magneto. Oh my God, this is everywhere. It's just everything that he's drawn in chronological order. No, thank you. I mean, sorry if I'm busting anybody's balls for getting this, but this is ridiculous. There's other material out there that needs to be collected. Hint, hint. New Warriors Volume 2, Marvel, you pieces of garbage. But at least they don't cancel books like Impulse, so I can't be too hard on them.
Fuck. Yeah, that's gonna, that's $62 I'm gonna spend elsewhere.
Yeah, sorry, Burn. And what
And
else?
The last one is Mira, Queen of Atlantis. That's the last 50% off. But
Oh, the one book. I'm like, no. Okay.
it's only $8.
What's all the rest of the stuff? Did we look at all of DC?
Yeah, we did. Or he
Okay.
went through it.
Well, we didn't really talk about it, but so you got Harley Quinn, you got 2 Injustice books coming out as well, Volume 4.
It's crazy how
hardcover.
fast they pump those out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Now look at this. Volume 3 of the trade paperback is out, so they're like neck and neck with each other. And then Trinity, Volume 4, Search for Steve Trevor.
And then the rest of Marvel, first volume, Mark Waid's Doctor Strange, all of the paperbacks for the Wolverine, Hunt for Wolverine stuff.
Or have those already been collected in that hardcover?
Yes, yeah, I have
Okay.
that on my shelf.
I
So
was thinking about ordering that, but I thought that was one of those books, much like you are speculating, is going to be discounted later on. But I could be wrong.
maybe,
Taking a gamble on it. We'll see.
but this one was a $50 cover price, and it has the contents of all 4 of those books. I don't know if all 4 of those books also include. One of them might have the Hunt for Wolverine Dead Ends #1, and this one also has material from Marvel Legacy #1 and Where's Wolverine pages from throughout the Marvel universe. So a little bit of Where's Waldo going on. So I don't know if that stuff's also in those paperbacks, but the cover price for the 4 paperbacks together winds up being $10 more than the cover price for this.
Gotcha. Okay. So somebody's asking if Lost Generation and the Omni not worth it. That's the 12 issues in that John Byrne omnibus. That's the one that Roger Stern that he wrote back in the 2000s. I have never read that, so I'm not sure how good it is. But I mean, for 12 issues for $62, I don't know. I mean,
What is that?
It's that 12 issue, I guess, maxi series that Roger Stern wrote, that John Byrne drew back in like early aughts.
I'm looking. I'm Wikipediaing it because I have no idea what it's about or who.
Pretty cool cover though.
It's kind of like his take on the Marvel universe, Marvel: The Lost Generation, how he was doing X-Men: The Hidden Years, but it's not. It's not. I don't know. I haven't read it, so.
Okay. Well,
I don't know how good it is.
I guess I'll find out never.
Not unless this book goes on sale for $10.
You never know.
I've seen crazy shit before.
Watch this be the next Colossal King Conan, and everybody.
Oh my God.
I'll be okay with that.
Hey, Omar and I bet that was going to go out of stock in what, an hour?
I gave it an hour. I should have said 30 minutes, which
So
was my initial
Dude,
thought.
you are totally underestimating all of the people in the omnibus.
Well, you guys, the rest of y'all, if I'm not mistaken, were saying like it'll last for the day. It'll last for a few hours.
Gio said 4 hours. I think Gabe said something. I don't think Jesse.
I didn't even comment on it, man. I didn't even comment on it.
I don't think
didn't
Jesse
comment on
knew
it
what the
either.
hell King Conan was. So
I already have a copy. I got it through Walmart.
Because I think trader, but I think that she said, didn't Emily say how many copies they were going to be getting or something?
She told the group they were getting 47 copies. So that off the bat, like there were more than 47 people wanting it, and I think they were limiting to 1 too. So I don't think it was somebody buying 35 copies of it, which is whatever, you know. All right, what's left with the previous catalog? What else comes out? And
just all the gross manga stuff down here.
All right, let's go down there.
Have it. What's on Boom?
Yeah, what's on Boom?
There's the third and I think last volume of Amory Wars Good Apollo. That's the most recent of the Coheed and Cambria adaptation books. Then there's a Power Rangers original graphic novel. It is written by Kyle Higgins. So
really?
I am excited to check it out since his Power Rangers has been really solid.
Oh, dude, like I can't stress enough. Like, if you're a Power Rangers fan, why aren't you reading this? I never got into the show, and I read that second year in one day. It was so damn good.
Cool. It's just really cool.
Yeah,
just
and I don't even want to say it's the greatest story I've ever read or anything like that, but it's just such easy reading and so fun and really cool. That's a good way of putting it.
It's like if I was coming up with the concepts when I was younger, because I mean when I was younger I only knew of course Mighty Morphin, and then they went into the other stuff. But if I was like 7 right now and was like playing with all of my Power Ranger toys, that's the type of shit that I would come up with, except a professional writer made it sound good.
Man.
Pass.
All right, next.
So what? No love for Steven Universe?
I love Steven Universe. I just don't read the comics, so I can't.
Yeah, I also don't read like things like Adventure Time and stuff like that, but maybe one day.
The early Adventure Time comics, I read the first 20 or so issues, and they were really solid. I think it was Ryan North who was writing it.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it someone else before him?
Have any of you guys read the Lumberjanes? Because both of my new readers really dig that series, and we're gonna do an episode of like old readers, new reader, and I'm gonna be the new reader because I've never read that.
It's good. You're gonna like it a lot. I have the first hardcover. The hardcovers are fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I almost bought it just based on like a hardcover, but I know nothing about it. I know she's the head writer on She-Ra, right? The new show.
I don't know.
One book that's not here.
She-Ra coming out.
One book that's not here that is getting released on Wednesday is Baby Teeth hardcover. That's a great book. Taylor Brown just brought that up in the chat. That's a Donnie Cates book.
Yeah, that's down here. Baby Teeth was.
It is down there.
Yeah, it's a smaller publisher. What Japanese books?
Oh, Disney Mickey Mouse Greatest Adventures. That looks interesting. Hey, can you click on that? I just want to see what the content is. I never got into the mouse books as much as I did the. Oh, okay. It's just a collection of what's his name, Floyd's books. Okay, never mind. It's cool. They took the best stories out of his run. Maybe. I'm already spending too much. I can't get into something new. Maybe I'll put it on a wish cart.
A new volume of Food Wars.
Gypsy Omnibus. What? Are you allowed to use that word? What is Gypsy Omnibus? Insights Comics. It's a soft cover. It's a graphic novel. Can't just throw that word around and not expect me to click on it.
Omnibus or Gypsy?
Both. This is OmniBros, man. Damn it, Gabe! How are you passing up on that? What is Gypsy
Why do I
Omnibus?
want to click on that? It sounds like gross manga.
Manga.
I don't think it is. I don't know what Insight Comics is.
Yeah, click on it. I want to see what it is.
No.
You are the worst host ever.
What is this Hieronymus Bosch book?
Oh, did they make a Bosch that comic?
Well, it's
It's a hardcover.
and Bosch.
Yeah, what is that?
Who are Hieronymus and Bosch? I know who Hieronymus Bosch is, but is that like a detective team or something? I guess we're not going to find out. We're not finding out tonight.
I don't see it anywhere. Oh, this.
It's on the side, yeah.
I was almost going to yell at Jess to take control of your computer so he can show you how to click.
Oh, Lake's made of poop, Ryley.
Oh,
that is your kind of humor.
What's the discount on that one?
Hieronymus Bosch. Let's see.
Oh, I was hoping this is a Bosch comic based on the detective show.
I don't have it on here.
Uh-oh.
Just like I don't have Baby Teeth on here.
Uh-oh.
But they are getting baby teeth.
Wait. This is
Sure
to
they
be
are.
determined. It might not be coming out. It's just to be determined. Maybe there's some weird mix-up.
Weird.
Oh, well.
So it might just be a comic book shop exclusive.
I probably
Looks pretty cool.
Anyway.
Looks pretty cool, man.
Pass.
So what's the age range for Lumberjane? Chris M is asking. Those of you who have read it.
Small.
I mean, it always depends on where you think your child's reading comprehension is at. But please say
my kid, my 9-year-old watched Aliens.
10 to 12 and up.
Okay. Okay. So
They
let's
also did a crossover with Gotham Academy at one point, which is really cool. So it was the DC Universe characters and
oh, that's
a
cool.
Boom Studios like title mixed together. It's cool.
And we're still not going to click on Gypsy, right? It's just
Nope.
okay.
Well,
That sounds.
can you quit talk teasing us and go to the bottom of the page then at least?
I can't. I could do that.
Or
As long as
you
you
just
get away
like
from Gypsy.
He's going to rush through all the books that I'm buying.
watch Gypsy be the next King Conan book?
My
That's
Hero.
fine. I didn't buy King Conan either.
Is that a 3-in-1? Yeah, it is. One Piece. Good Lord, they're pumping those out too. I kind of wish I had waited for those 3-in-1. They're so cheap to get.
I like the way the 1-in-1s look, though, if that's what you want to call them.
Yeah, I do too, but it's costing me an arm and a leg, even at a discount, bro.
Promised Neverland.
Yeah, I made the mistake of getting that for my 8-year-old daughter at the time, and she comes over to me. She's like, "Poppy, I don't think I'm supposed to be reading this." And she shows me this like panel of all these little kids with their heads decapitated. I'm like, "Yep, no, I'm supposed to be reading this." Because based on the freaking name, I'm like, "Oh, Promise Neverland. This is about Peter Pan. My kid's gonna love this."
Yeah, but so was Lost Girls.
wow.
True,
Oh,
true.
whoa.
But that had Alan Moore's name on it. I knew better. Is that it?
You can keep
Yeah,
it's
just
so-
keep going now. Keep going now.
Silver Spoon.
Good Lord, so much manga comes out every week. This is insane.
All I heard is how about Worship Jolly Roger? That's probably based on Peter Pan too.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna try out that We Never Learn Volume 1. It's a jump series.
Okay.
It's a little more feminine, so to say, than what I usually go for. But
Whatever.
It's supposed to be more comedic, and it's jump. So I've seen. I looked up like reactions to it, and people dug it. As long as it's not really like, fan service heavy, I'll be fine. The only fan service heavy series I really have is going to be Food
Wars,
and that pushes it enough for me.
All right, and that's it.
Dave K. That's an awesome story about your daughter.
I adore how innocent and like honest that she is there.
Yeah, I don't even know what the A word is. That's cute. Unlike my kids that have heard me say just about everything.
As you're buying them tickets to see Aliens.
She ended up loving that movie. All right, that's all the previews.
God damn it, I want that Fantastic Four omnibus so bad now.
Do it. You're gonna regret it if you don't do it because it's gonna sell out. I can't imagine them print. It's gonna sell out tomorrow. I can't imagine them printing too much of that stuff.
That's the perfect like jumping on point or introduction for the Fantastic Four for new readers or or anything like that. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect for that.
One of my favorite things about that run is how cartoonish Ringo's art makes you think like, oh, this is going to be, really kid and family friendly, but how dark the story is, especially with Doom. Oh man, what a great
that Doom
run.
stuff in the new armor and like the kidnapping of Franklin and not even just that, but just the whole idea of where he, the idea of the armor came from and his means to get that armor or the material needed to make it.
Oh man. Yeah, it's
Gio is disappointed in us for skipping Mira.
I'm getting that.
Yeah, Gio, your buddy Jess is gonna get it.
Right here, dude. I'm here for
I'm gonna wait for the omnibus. Gio,
good.
Collect it in the omnibus.
It is good. I enjoyed the miniseries. I'm enjoying Abnett's ongoing run in general, but I just don't buy the thin paperbacks in general. So
I like those. Those are good palate cleansers after big old thick books. I can just burn through a bunch of thin trades and make a video on them, or at least say that I've been reading, making a dent in my backlog.
Here's a question. Omar, Gabe, and Jess, do your kids draw? I have a funny story about that.
Oh, is this the one where you got contacted?
Yes.
This is a good one.
So my daughter and I, when she was like 6 at the time, we were going through. I was, I'm like, I'm gonna show her the Batman movies. She's gonna love these movies. So I showed her the Nolan trilogy, and it was right before school started. So we stopped like halfway through Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, or Rises. I'm sorry. And she goes to school, and I get a call from my wife, who's like, "You need to talk to your daughter when you get home. We got a call from the teacher." And I'm like, "What?" She never gets in trouble. I come home, and she shows me this note, and it's this piece of artwork that my daughter had done of Batman. Like, pretty much, he had 2 guns and just blown the crap out of Bane. Like, just shooting, and there's blood everywhere. So I made it a point. I'm like, "Look, honey," because I also want to encourage her. I'm like, this is a wonderful picture. It's really well done. The colors are beautiful. Blood's everywhere. But the second point I want to make is Batman would never, ever use guns, and Batman never kills. Now, about a year later, what's it called came out, Batman versus Superman, and there's that scene where Batman's gunning down the bad guys in the Batwing, and I'm like, God damn it, Affleck! I just told my daughter that Batman never kills. Thanks.
And he had guns before.
Shut up, you.
So was your daughter like critical of that movie? Did she see it?
Yes. So she was disappointed that Batman did not put a bunch of holes in Bane, that he kind of got taken off really weak too.
No, was she critical of Batman versus Superman?
Oh, she never saw it.
Okay, cool. Well, if she does,
yeah, that's even more scarier than Aliens and Aliens too.
I would think so too. I'll let her make her own mistakes when she gets older. As an adult, I feel partially responsible for the things that she sees now.
Partially? You're the one that puts it in front of her.
Well, some of the stuff. I'm not a monster. What about you, Gabe? Do your kids draw?
Yeah, they color a little bit. They're young, so they don't really draw, but they color.
Cool. And Jess, did your daughter ever take like artistic talents from you? Because I know you're a big artist.
Yeah, she liked drawing as a kid. She drew a lot as a kid, but she didn't. She was more of her talents were more in singing and acting. That's where she really
nice.
And she was a softball pitcher, so those were her passions. And as she grew up,
I don't know if you guys were on the show that day when I told everybody that Jess is a painter. Like he has paintings in his house. They're really nice. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, man. If I was seriously, if I was sitting at Waffle House at 3:00 in the morning, half drunk, I would be. I would be tempted to buy one off the wall because it's Waffle House art.
That's such a left-hand compliment. It goes all the way over to my right hand and
I'm
shakes
just kidding.
behind my back.
I'm kidding.
Half drunk at a Waffle House. Oh my God, that was a multi-layered burn. Several.
Your art is great, man.
Between the burns, there were like spikes. It was so multi-layered. Waffle House at 3 a.m. drunk.
I mean, who isn't at Waffle House at 3 a.m.
might consider it.
Might consider it, yeah.
Yeah, you might consider it.
So what else are we going to talk about today? We got a show on Thursday. Don't forget to check out our other shows. We have one on Sunday that these guys do. It's more of a laid-back show. What's that show like, guys? I've never joined you for that, except for that one time I did it live.
Oh, yeah, you did it live with us.
I did the table that one time on the Sunday show.
Oh, that's right. When you beat the table? Or is that where we introduced the table?
No, we introduced the table on a Thursday show, and then a couple of Sundays later, I finally had the rematch, and I beat that table's ass, but it was honestly like I think that I was defeated in the long run because it was like the realization that the only reason I couldn't defeat the table, so to say, was because I didn't fucking read the instructions. It was very like simple, just I think you hold the button or something instead of pressing it. But yeah, it was frustrating, and I won, but I didn't feel like I won.
It felt like a victory for the channel that you did it on air.
Yeah, it was humiliating, to say the least.
No, it was cool that you came back and did it on air, I thought.
I did that my library video the other night, so I think people like that, and we're
Oh yeah, we should probably tell the chat and people watching that we're doing a lot of pre-recorded videos now, so that we have more content. We're going to be doing things like reading orders of books and a lot of reference stuff, room tours, things like that. So we're going to put more content up. So it's not just going to be live shows. It's going to be reference material. So if you have a question, hopefully you can find it in a video. And we're going to be doing previews, if I recall correctly, like monthly previews, what's coming out that month. What else are we doing, guys? Am I leaving anything out?
Yeah, Ryley and I are shooting an idea of like mapping out the remaining X-Men omnibuses and epic editions. And we're hoping to pull Peter M in on that because he's a lot of fun to talk to. So, and his knowledge is out there with X-Men titles. So very excited for those kind of episodes.
Oh yeah,
segment as well.
yeah.
Manga segment with Ryley and Geo.
Hopefully Geo and I can get together and I pitch the idea that maybe once a month we can run through everything that's coming out and just talk about what we are planning on getting or possibly interested in, stuff like that. So then we don't have to torture Gabe by talking about them every Monday.
Gross. Yeah. I appreciate that.
I'm looking out for you, buddy. I'm looking out.
Man, that's awesome. You and me, bro. You and me. There's actually a recorded video upload. But yeah, like we were saying, we want to try and do more with that. So the next is out of print Marvel omnibuses. So.
Yeah, we want to kind of be the one-stop shop for things like that because we figured we have enough knowledge on this panel. We might as well start sharing it with other folks. So, yeah. And Ryley's gone.
Like timeline recorders.
Did we just lose Ryley on purpose?
A little bit there for a bit.
Yeah, I think you.
No, he just came back.
Sorry,
you kicked him out.
No, I accidentally pressed the X on my thingy.
Yeah. But speaking of knowledge, there's a question in the chat. Where was it? Let me get back on there real fast.
Knowledge is power.
Right on.
Asking, go Fantastic Four omnibus up against Burns' run and Hickman's run.
I think, oh man, that's a tough choice. I think, to me at least, I would say it's me personally. I think it's better than Hickman's, and it's not as good as Burns. That's me. What about you, Gabe?
Interesting.
I would put it above both in the accessibility and fun factor.
Look, I didn't know I could do that. Okay, go ahead. Damn it! Take back what I said.
There's no stipulations to any of this. You know. I think it's better than both in that regard. Hickman's run is it's people have said it before, and it's true that it does dip for a while, but it does all that stuff that dips, like the Inhuman segments and stuff like that, does completely pay off at one point, but it does kind of feel drawn out and dragging a little bit. You don't get that with the Raringo and Mark Waid's up. It's 100% from beginning to the end, just fast-paced, multiple storylines. So it's in there. Burns, I mean, you kind of have to be of that era a little bit to kind of enjoy it, I think. Just, that style of dialogue and that style of storytelling, that style of art that John Byrne is infamous for. It's just a lot, especially when it's two really large omnibuses for that John Byrne run.
I think the second omnibus is a lot better than the first two.
Yeah, I just got the second omnibus the other day.
I mean, they both have wonderful standalone stories in them, but
the second
omni, yeah, at least in my opinion.
I've only read the first one, so that makes me feel like I really need to jump on that second one.
Here, I wish they would collect the Walter Simonson run too. That would, including the finale he did with Arthur Adams, where he introduced the new Fantastic Four. I would love an omnibus of that.
They at the least have the epics.
Yeah, they have 2 epics. You are correct, sir.
So at the very least, we have that.
At the very least, all they have to do is just put them together. Like, take these 2 books, literally put them together.
Are you talking about the Simonson stuff?
Yeah, he did the Into the Time Stream and the new Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
both of these. So if they just put these together,
the epics are out. They're great.
I love the epics, but I'm a dumb ass and will buy the omnibus.
Do I not have Into the Time Stream? I thought I had that.
Into the Time Stream's the first one.
Lionheart, 50% off the new Wade Waringo Omnibus for IST.
52 if you have that sweet loyalty discount, or you make a $50 or so one order before you make your other order.
Right.
Yep. That's what we all do.
Beat the system.
Loopholes, baby.
Is my internet cutting out? Shit.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, your internet's not great.
Shit. All right. Oh, I'll fix that.
Favorite action figure each of you own? That's a good question. Oh god. Predaking. The original Predaking from Transformers 1987? Yeah, the combiner. God, I love that. Okay, Gabe's gonna go get it.
Oh man, I think his battery died finally after fucking 20 plus years. But he says, "It's turbo time."
Is that Turbo Man?
You're goddamn right, it's Turbo Man. I'm missing his jetpack because I've had this literally since freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger made the movie.
Jingle All the Way?
Yeah. It's not my favorite, but it's nice to have. It's a fun little nostalgia trip.
I'll grab my favorite action figure.
I bet it's got boobies.
You're not wrong. It's Silk because her face is so beautiful in this sculpt.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, look how beautiful this face is for an action
Is
figure.
that an action figure? Really?
Yeah.
That's a Marvel Legends.
Marvel Legends, yeah.
That's a good sculpt.
Isn't that a good sculpt for an action figure? I thought this was just an excellent. I think their Legends are just such high quality, I think.
I like how constipated Wolverine looks.
Higher!
That's why I put him in this position. So
That's a good figure. Ah, man, I almost want to jump back into the Marvel Legends line, but I have a problem. I have a buying problem because if I buy that one, I'll get them all.
oh yeah, that I mean,
And then I'll be like, no, I'll only get Wolverine. And then I'll be like, no, I'll only get the Wolverine family. Now I have to have all the X-Men.
And I have to have
Exactly.
X-23, but there's also all new Wolverine and Old Man Logan, and yeah,
So I tell my family, don't ever get me any Marvel Legends figures, please.
I just buy all of them. Not all the Marvel Legends. I buy all of the X-Men ones. I think that makes sense for me, and it's only hurt me a little bit in my wallet.
She's not standing bow-legged. I think it looks like that.
She's been riding that horse.
She's been riding the silk horse. I needed to put her in that position so she would stand properly. If I put her feet too close together, she doesn't stand up on her own. So.
Sledge, I'm going to answer for Gabe since he's not here, and just go ahead and buy that Fear Agent. I think you asked that the last time too. He was asking about Fear Agent or Saga. I would say Fear Agent because it's over. It's over and done. Saga's still continuing. They're taking a year hiatus. What would you guys suggest?
He's trying to talk. Like all of a sudden, I heard Turbo Man gurgling. It's like his motors are running. Wait, what were we all saying? Saga or Fear Agent?
Yeah, like which would you choose? He was asking Gabe, but Gabe, like, internet died.
It depends on your tastes, but I think that the fact that Fear Agent is concluded is a really good point.
Yeah.
Because then you know that popular consensus is that it has a good beginning, middle, and end, whereas Saga, I mean, chances are it's going to be pretty good throughout. But A, we don't know how long it's going to be, and B, what if it does wind up sucking in the end?
I doubt it, but it does have a small chance that it
I
could.
agree. I don't think it will, but it's always something to consider.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love Sagas, but like the opening pages of Saga are some of my favorite comic book pages I've ever read. But we've yet to see what they're gonna do with that series after it comes back from the year-long hiatus.
Oh my god, yeah, and that was quite the event to end it on.
Cliffhangers, I know. All right, well, Jess, is there anything else tonight, or?
We can mention our sponsor, InStockTrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions. And as Ryley said, loyalty discounts, frequent buyer discounts add 2% to that. Every quarter, there's an Omniboslive coupon. Over $50 in the United States gets you free shipping, fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. And again, we have a show on Sunday nights and Thursday nights.
Taylor Brown, I'm watching Maniac. I'm on episode 5 on Netflix. It's pretty trippy. I like it a lot. It messes with my head a lot.
And don't forget to check out that Captain Marvel trailer that's coming out later.
Oh, is it coming out at halftime of the game tonight?
Yeah, halftime, and then the rumor is that we're also getting an Avengers trailer, and on Wednesday and on Friday we're getting a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Those are the rumors right now.
Well, they've been saying Avengers for the past like
5 weeks. Yeah,
I think they're just gonna release the movie. Like, remember with the last one, they like pushed it up a week, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, you can do that!" I think this time they're just gonna drop the movie on us.
Oh god, that would be great.
No fucking trailer, no warning, nothing. They don't even tell us the actual name of the movie. Just all of a sudden, they're like reports coming in where movie theaters have gotten the like their digital copies of the movie to load, and it says on there like released on January whatever. And then because it would just be that would be a serious power move.
That I would have so much respect for them to do that, but I don't think they'll do that. They love the hype. They love the trailers. And I hope this is the last Captain Marvel trailer we get, because the movie comes out in March. I don't need anything else. I don't need a 5-minute clip like Aquaman.
Have you watched Castlevania, Omar?
Me? Yeah. Actually, on my show, Near Mint Condition, there's an all-ladies panel coming out this Thursday where they're talking about the Netflix animation. And one of the shows they talked about was Castlevania. Now, we filmed that a week or so ago. So it's got Maddie, Amanda, and then Tina, and then another lady named Heather. But I hadn't seen it yet, so I was like, I totally got to watch it. So I ended up I had watched the first season. That's what it was. I watched the first season, and then I watched season 2. And there's so many cool Easter eggs in that show. Like if you play the games.
Right.
So music is awesome because they're just remixes of the levels and things like that. So that's awesome.
I loved Castlevania. I really enjoyed that series.
I'm going to peace out, guys.
Okay.
Well, we're out of here too. So Ryley, where can they find you?
You can find me on this channel. Sometimes you can find me on my channel, Ryleymo, RYLEYMO. You can find me on my Instagram, sometimes RYLEYM0, Ryleymo. And of course, the Facebook group that we're all so fond of is the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. So that's about it.
I'm so glad you're here because I usually put Jess on the spot by asking him what that group is, and he always ends up butchering it.
I have to think about it too, man.
It's a long-winded name.
All right, well, I'm out of here, so I'll check y'all later.
Be good.
Right on, Ryley.
Adios.
Thanks. Where can they find you, Omar, on that channel you just talked about?
You can find me on this channel right here called Near Mint Condition, where we have a live show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called Old Reader, New Reader, where we're going to talk about this handsome gentleman right here.
Oh, good book.
Plus, starting off the Christmas season with this book, so see what the ladies thought about it. But yes, that's my channel, and you can also find me in this YouTube channel with these gentlemen here, and on the Facebook group, which Ryley just stated. What about you, Jess? Where can people find you
They
when
can
you're not
find
shopping
me
at In-Stock Trades?
when I'm not shopping and dropping at InStockTrades.com. You can find me, Omnidog, on Omnidog's Vault on YouTube. And tomorrow I have a free day, so I'm going to upload a bunch of stuff onto Instagram. And I even put that in my calendar, so I have to do it. I'm a slave to my calendar. So that Instagram is omnidogs_vault. So thank you for watching, everybody. Everybody in the chat, if you could do us a favor and click the like button. If you could, and everybody watching it recorded, if you could hit the like button, we'd appreciate it. Likes equals something good. I forget what it is in the algorithm, but Google likes us better when you like us. So thanks. Is that right, Omar? Something to that effect? Like hit the like button?
Google likes us better. I think you put it the way any grandparent would have put it. Yeah.
Fucker. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You guys are great. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank
Good night,
you for
everybody.
watching.